Amen. I want to invite you to turn to Daniel. We're back in Daniel, or Daniel's back. However you want to look at that. And so, Daniel chapter 10. In the third year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a revelation was given to Daniel, who was called Belteshazzar. His message was true, and it concerned a great war. The understanding of the message came to him in a vision. At that time, I, Daniel, mourned for 3 weeks. I ate no choice food, no meat or wine touched my lips, and I used no lotions at all until the 3 weeks were over. On the 24th day of the first month, I was standing on the bank of the great river, the Tigris, and I looked up, and there before me was a man dressed in linen, with a belt of finest gold around his waist. His body was like chrysolite, and his face like lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze, and his voice like the sound of a multitude. I, Daniel, was the only one who saw the vision. The men with me did not see it, but such terror overwhelmed them that they fled and hid themselves. So I was left alone, gazing at the great vision. I had no strength left, my face turned deathly pale, and I was helpless. Then I heard him speaking, and as I listened to him, I fell into a deep sleep and my face to the ground. A hand touched me and set me trembling on my hands and knees. He said, Daniel, you who are highly esteemed, consider carefully the words I'm about to speak to you and stand up. For I have now been sent to you. And when he said this to me, I stood up trembling. Then he continued, do not be afraid, Daniel, since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before God, your words were heard. And I have come in response to them. But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, because I was now detained there with the king of Persia. Now I have come to explain to you what will happen to your people in the future, for the vision concerns a time yet to come. While he was saying this to me, I bowed my face to the ground and was speechless. Then one who looked like a man touched my lips, and I opened my mouth and began to speak. I said to the one standing before me, I am overcome with anguish because of the vision, my Lord, and I am helpless. How can I, your servant, talk with you, my Lord? My strength is gone, and I can hardly breathe. Again, the one who looked like a man touched me and gave me strength. Do not be afraid, O man highly esteemed, he said. Peace. Be strong now. Be strong. Then he spoke to me. When he spoke to me, I was strengthened and said, speak, my Lord, since you have given me strength. So he said, you know why I have come to you. Soon I will return to fight against the prince of Persia, and when I go, the prince of Greece will come. But first I will tell you what is written in the book of truth. No one supports me against them except Michael, your prince. In the first year of Darius the Mede, I took my stand to support and protect him. As we get back to Daniel, we find ourselves in the third year of Cyrus, king of Persia. This is now after the lion's den episode, and after King Darius. And God allowed Daniel to prosper in Babylon a long time because Daniel's unwavering devotion to him. I mean, you see Daniel's chewing up kings and spitting out Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar, Darius, Cyrus. There's kings and kingdoms are all passing away, right? In Daniel's day, but there's something about that name even before Jesus' time here. And so in the third year of Cyrus, this revelation is given to Daniel. And to be clear, the nature of revelation isn't that something new happened or is happening. Revelation means that something is being revealed, something that's already true. It has already happened, is being shown to someone, in this case, Daniel. And this is the last vision that Daniel records, and it concerns a great war. The understanding of the message comes to Daniel in the vision, and we'll see that it is yet further insight into the great spiritual battle going on between God's people and those who want to destroy them. In Recharge, we're studying this thing called the invisible war. And Daniel's actually getting us a vision into this invisible war that's being waged. And Daniel, what Daniel sees causes him a little bit of grief. And in verse 2, it says he mourned for 3 weeks and ate no choice food, no meat, no wine, no lotions for 3 weeks. Now all that stuff, the choice food and lotions, were signs of feasting and prosperity. The signs that everything's going wonderfully. And Daniel's people, God's people, weren't exactly feasting and living it up. So even though Daniel had access to all these things, being the king's right-hand man, one of the top 3 in the kingdom, he had access to all those, but they choose not to use them for 3 weeks because he was in mourning. It represents just how badly Daniel wants to understand the answer to the vision. Sometimes we have to want it bad enough to press into God and say, I can't remember who it was in Scripture said, it may have been Moses, said, God, we're not moving until you show us what to do. And he was that fed up with what was going on. And we'll see in verse 7 that Daniel was the only one that sees this vision. None of the men with him saw it because terror overwhelmed them and they fled. They got scared and they ran off, leaving only Daniel to see the vision. And his strength is so depleted he falls into a deep sleep. And while this guy's speaking to him and shows him the meaning of the vision, he starts off by describing the man dressed in linen. And the first thing he describes about this guy is the belt that is the finest gold. The very first piece, if you remember, the very first piece of armor that Paul describes in Ephesians, and we're getting this pointed out to us again in the Invisible War on Wednesday nights, is the belt of what? The belt of truth. The belt of truth. It's imperative that in all things we know and understand the truth. It's only natural that the devil will be the father of lies. Right? If he can get people to believe lies, his job gets a whole lot easier. And to try to run through the litany of lies that are out there, you know how many lies are out there that people are believing? It's hard to keep track of them. It really is. And daily they invent new lies. Well, this fellow has the belt of finest gold, the finest truth, the ultimate truth. There is only truth in Jesus. If you don't have Jesus, you couldn't possibly know the truth. And his body was like chrysolite, his face was like lightning, his eyes were like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze, and his voice like the sound of a multitude. And hopefully this sounds familiar because it sounds a lot like the same way that John described the guy he saw in the book of Revelation. And it sounds the same because they saw the same thing. They saw the exact same thing. Daniel is described it the same way John did because if you and me are both looking at the same thing, odds are we're going to describe it in pretty similar terms. We may talk about it a little bit differently. I might notice the color first. You might notice the shape first. But we're going to talk about the same thing. And this guy that comes to speak to Daniel to help him understand what's happening. So you see Daniel who is tired, scared, and alone. And in verse 10, his hand touches him. That sets him to trembling on his hands and knees. This is a troubling vision because it's a troubling war. Even the word war doesn't sound like a fun thing to do, does it? So he says, what do you want to do today? I don't think anybody's going to say, hey, let's war. War is never something that we want to aim to do. It's a troubling thing. This guy says to Daniel, you're highly esteemed. So consider carefully the words I'm about to speak to you and stand up, for I have been sent to you. So Daniel stands up, but he's still trembling. He's still scared. The guy who spent the night in the lion's den, whose buddies came out unscathed from the fiery furnace, is trembling at this vision. It must have been intense. It must have been scary. I'm not sure what kind of stuff scares you. I kind of know what kind of stuff scares me. But you'd think after spending the night with the lions that nothing would scare Daniel. But he's trembling at this vision because of the nature of its intensity. And this guy says in verse 12, don't be afraid, Daniel. Do not be afraid. If we don't hear anything else this morning, we need to hear God saying to us, do not be afraid, Plum. Do not be afraid. Don't know what's going to happen. Don't know what's going to happen. Let's stand up and not be afraid. But since the first day, he says to Daniel, since the first day you set your mind to gain understanding and humble yourself before God, 3 weeks ago, your words were heard, and I've come in response to them. But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me for these 21 days. Did we hear that? Daniel's prayer was heard, but it took 3 weeks to get the answer because somehow, some way, the answer was hindered. Until Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help. There are forces that attempt to hinder our prayers that clearly have a certain measure of success, don't they? It didn't keep the prayer from getting there, but it sure did hold it up long enough. And that's why it's important to pray like we mean it. To pray like and not give up. And to keep praying. Because I'll be honest with you, I've not seen the stuff that Daniel sees. I don't understand why this prayer took 21 days, because there was resistance. But we can understand, we can see that it's real. And the guy says in verse 14, I've come to explain to you what will happen to your people in the future, for the vision concerns a time yet to come. Daniel was speechless. but not just at a loss for words. He was literally unable to speak. I've had dreams like that. I guess we call those nightmares. You're trying to say something and it's just not coming out. You just can't talk. Don't like this. Oh, I like to talk. But he was unable to speak. And all of a sudden, this man touched his lips, opened his mouth, and he began to speak. And even at that, all Daniel was able to say, that he was overcome with anguish because of the vision. He was helpless and so weak, he could hardly breathe. He could hardly breathe. And finally, the guy touched him and gave him strength and said, we need to hear this morning. Do not be afraid, O man, highly esteemed. Peace. Be strong now. Be strong. We still haven't gotten the gist of the vision or any of its meaning, and that's okay. We'll get there. But the point of the passage for us today isn't necessarily the meaning of the vision. But when we see things we don't understand, when we see things that scare us, whether it's the future of our church or how we're going to come up with all the supplies we need in the next few weeks, God's always going to be there to put his hand on us and give us strength and make us able to speak. He tells us, just like he told Daniel, peace. Be strong now, be strong. And when Daniel heard those words, he was strengthened. He was able to say, speak, my Lord, since you have given me strength. Daniel was now in a position to hear what God had to say. And so this guy says, do you know why I've come to you? Soon I'll return and fight against the prince of Persia. And then I'll go and fight the prince of Greece will come. But first I'll tell you what's written in the book of truth. And he says, no one supports me against them except Michael, your prince. In the first year of Darius the Mede, I took my stand to support and protect him. There are some deeply spiritual things happening here. And when we pray, we wage war against the kingdom of darkness. Now the kingdom of darkness, which was defeated on the cross by Jesus, isn't happy about that, and it fights back. They aren't going away quietly. They won't go away quietly. We have to be willing to put ourselves out there like Daniel did. We have to be willing to stick around and see the meaning of the vision, even if it's scary and exhausting, and nobody else decides to stick around with us. All Daniel's buddies left him high and dry, and he was there all by himself. We have to be willing to stick around. And we have to trust that at the end of it all, Jesus is going to be there with that touch that gives us the strength we need. The battle wasn't going away for Daniel, and the battle won't go away for us. But notice what the guy is there to reveal to Daniel. What is written in the book of truth. Remember what Daniel saw was a war. He saw a war. The war was between truth and everything else that doesn't want to be truth. That's a big category. You know, the things that don't want to be true. You realize how many things out there people say that aren't true. But if you can get enough people to believe it, then they think it's true. They act like it's true. Then they live like it's true. And what are they living into? Not the truth, but a lie. And so, and then when you come along and say, hey, that's not true, they try to make you have to be the bad guy. Well, that's what we have to do. Because in times like that, it can be scary, it can be lonely, and it can be to the point where it's hard to breathe. But we have to stand on the truth. If we don't stand for truth, what do you got? You got lies. You know, that's Satan's kingdom. The war is between truth and everything else that doesn't want to be truth. And Daniel's alone, scared, tired, but he's still seeking truth. The word of Daniel and the word of Plum today is do not be afraid. Peace, be strong. We can be strong, but only in his strength. Let's pray. Father God, help us. Help us, Lord, whenever we find ourselves tired, whenever we find ourselves, maybe we're alone, Lord, and maybe we're scared, we don't know what to do, we don't know what's going to happen, we don't know a whole bunch of stuff we don't know. But we're seeking you, Lord, we're seeking the truth, and we pray, Lord, we would hear your word to Daniel, that was peace, be strong. Lord, we're not strong enough ourselves, but because of what you've done for us. Because of what you've done for us. And what you're going to show Daniel, and what you already showed us, is to be strong. Lord, we are in Christ, and it's in his name we pray. Amen.